Hey everyone, I'm John Lee. I'm the CEO of Rendering House, and welcome to my presentation of the Uberization of new home sales and marketing. But I'm hoping not to just give you a presentation, but a lot of inspiration and motivation to make some important changes. If you really think about it, 5 years ago, we probably didn't even understand what Uberization means, but nowadays it's come to be defined as the disruption of an entire industry. And for us, overnight, these revolutionary changes will permanently change the way we market and sell new homes. So the question is, are you prepared? Where I'm going to help prepare you today by learning these objectives. Review how technology has disrupted other industries. How will technology disrupt the new homes industry? Then how can we prepare for this technology revolution? Before we talk about the future, let's talk about the past, specifically my past. Back in 1999, I left a Fortune 100 company to join a high-tech startup in Silicon Valley. And it was just like the TV show. I mean, it was a wild, crazy ride. We raised $9 million. We thought we were going to change the world. But I really didn't realize that I was really living in this Silicon Valley bubble that was totally different from other industries and other businesses. Until 2001 with the dot-com crash. And when that bubble burst, I left Silicon Valley and went back to Raleigh, North Carolina and entered the real estate industry. But then I realized how very different these two industries were. Real estate was real slow, and obviously tech was a hair faster. But then I got this crazy idea of why not combine technology with real estate and totally disrupt this industry. So I thought I'd start this real estate tech revolution back then. Basically being the Paul Revere, going around to all the builders saying, hey, the techies are coming, the techies are coming. But it was really falling on deaf ears because I realized that real estate was a tech laggard industry and a lot of the builders were very traditional in the way they wanted to operate. So I went and started a new rendering company called Rendering House, and that was to create attractive visualization content. It was really a B2B company to serve builders, but I realized that for new homes, they weren't built and they need great renderings to help market it. Fast forward to today, we just created a Nugo, which is a technology software company that creates engaging online customer experiences through software. And it's really targeting a B2C market, businesses to consumers. And it was founded on this principle of don't buy new homes the old way, make a new goal of it. Because when you buy a new home, you're not just buying a new house, you're buying a new lifestyle, new friends, a new community, basically a whole new way of life. Now, you may have noticed that I'm not riding on a horse, I'm riding on a unicorn. And why is that? Because I was modeling my business after the multi-billion dollar software tech companies referred to as unicorns, or you may know them as the FANG stocks: Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. And basically, these unicorns disrupt markets that are huge, fragmented, and inefficient, just like us. And why is huge so attractive? Well, obviously, because it's huge. But not only is it attracting new investors, but it's also potentially attracting new innovative builders. So there's going to be a lot of market penetration in a huge market. The second characteristics are fragmented markets. And those are markets that don't have a dominant player, no standard practice, a lot of fragmentation of different types of builders. And what will happen there is weak players will be eliminated. And you'll see that through market consolidation. And we've already started to see that in the last few years. The third attractive type of market is an inefficient market. And there we just play an entirely different game. And that's just cause for market disruption. And I think that's the stage where we're at now. Because when you put all these together, it adds up to a very attractive market for unicorns to come stampeding into it. And that's going to make our industry much more competitive than it ever has been. Now let's talk about our huge market. We're over $300 billion a year new homes market, but it could be potentially 5 times larger because 64% of home buyers are actually interested in buying new, but 9% actually do. And that's an 85% drop off. That's a huge market share that we're conceding to existing homes. And I think we can take it back through a better customer experience. Of the top 10 industries in the US, real estate is number one by far, $1.9 trillion. But the unusual thing is the top 10 investments of 5,000 startups real estate only ranks number 8. And I think our time has come that we need to get the investments that correspond with our market size. So I think in the near future, and you're starting to see this with the existing homes, that you're getting a lot of prop tech investment in real estate. Now, we're a very highly fragmented industry. We have over 45,000 US builders. So there's no clear industry leader. And why is that? Because this whole industry is a very puzzling piecemeal process. There's real no sales or marketing standard that we all adhere by. It's a very complex and expensive and collaborative product to buy and even build. And that just makes it very hard to have a standard practice. And there's thousands of choices for the buyers to choose from. Not just different plans and styles, but everything down to the kitchen sink. And you even have to choose a home site. The other complexity is a lot of our shoppers aren't savvy about this. This is an infrequent purchase, and they want to do it their own way, but we don't let them do it their own way. And then finally, our market is very, very inefficient. I mean, that's marked by us having agents and having buyers go online and offline. Definitely not the direct-to-consumer online experience that they have with like Amazon. We almost have this fire brigade approach. There's many steps, intermediaries, and it takes months to purchase. The data is not vertically integrated. It's many handoffs, and that just adds to more cost, time, and complexity. I mean, ERP systems have to feed content management systems, which have to feed all these different marketing channels, which then has to feed CRM systems, and then that has to feed sales systems. I mean, it just makes me exhausted just saying it. Also, a lot of things are lost in translation between the buyer and the builder. I mean, the buyers just don't understand builder speak, real estate, financial, and legal speak. We have a language problem. And marketing and sales are disconnected. It's marketing lead sales, but it's not like Amazon where on the same platform you can learn all about the product and then also consummate the sale. I mean, basically you have to go offline for the sales because we just don't have that technology. And then finally, it's a lengthy post-sales construction and closing process on top of all that. So what we really want to do is change it from a bucket brigade to like a streaming process, almost like a Netflix. So what's the unicorn recipe for disruption? Well, let me tell you, the secret sauce is a great online customer experience, CX. And the key ingredient is fresh content. And what you start off with is raw data. And now you process and refine it with software, just like you do with sugar. And then you add a large helping of fresh local marketing content because real estate is location, location, location. And after that, you put in a high degree of MarTech to create an exceptional customer experience. And what is MarTech? Well, MarTech is a combination of marketing, which essentially connects buyers and sellers, and technology, which just improves that connection. And together, they provide that great online customer experience. And one note, MarTech uses technology to help shoppers consume content better and easier, because if it's easier for them to consume, they're more likely to engage and they're more likely to really enjoy your product and service. Now you take all that and you mix the marketing with the technology, but you have to apply it across all your channels so that the buyer gets that same wonderful customer journey and experience whenever they interact with you. And now you take all this and you serve it hot on apps. What I mean is, your apps have to work across all devices. Everything is up to date. They start where they left off. It's just a very exciting experience. And when you need to season it with personal data to continue to enrich that experience and personalize it. Now, the final key thing is you need to serve millions of people 24/7 simultaneously, and you do it through the cloud. And data is key to all this, because if you can do that, that'll do it. Now let's get cooking in our own industry. So again, we start off with the raw data. And for us, the builders speak, which is a lot of textual jargon, real estate jargon, construction, architectural jargon. But we take all of that textual talk and we convert it to digital, ones and zeros. And then we run it through our cloud rendering engine, which processes and refines it to convert all that digital data into graphics. And with that visualization, which is the buyer speak, the buyers can interactively design their homes online 24/7. Thousands of people are design the same home in thousands of different ways without any additional cost to you. Third thing is now we add that large helping of fresh local content to make it really relevant. We bring in images that resonates with their lifestyle or amenities and show them points of interest maps of all the wonderful things around them, and maybe even some descriptions about local attractions and events. And now we add a high degree of MarTech to create that exceptional customer experience. And again, we have to provide that across all your marketing channels. So when they go to the sales center, they get that wonderful touchscreen kiosk experience, and they can continue that shopping journey on their smartphones as they're driving around or when they get home on their desktops. And again, this is all connected in the cloud and is served hot across apps. Now you season with personal data, so what happens is that you allow them to save all of their personal favorites in the way they want in their shopping carts, and it let them continue to enhance that. And then finally, you need to do this and feed millions of people simultaneously through the cloud. So when I created my businesses, I wanted to model after successful industries. So ironically, I was looking at one of the most successful industry, which is the oil industry. It's kind of an old school model. But today, data is the black gold and silicon is the new oil. And the way we're going to tap into that gold is to use MarTech. So over here on the left side, we have what I call the B2B play, which is business to business play, which is what Render House is in. So you got all this trapped gold down there in data, in ERP systems, in BIM systems, building information modeling systems, and even MLS. And so what we want to do is we want to pump that data into our cloud rendering engine, our refinery, to then process it to convert that great content into a content that's consumable for the consumers, which is visual. So then, now that are able to process this through Rendering House, that's why we created Nugo to become the distribution system, which is more of the B2C play. And that's a very technologically centric approach. It's not about creating great content, it's about creating great customer experience. Because we now can distribute that refined content for public consumption. That's why it's called business to consumer. And in that approach, those gas tanks there, we are going to provide that distribution across all the marketing channels and then all the vehicles that those channels supply so that the buyers can drive that experience themselves. And that's exactly the model that the FANG stocks have followed. You look at Facebook, well, they don't have to worry about the content because you provide it for free, but they provide a great interface and a way to distribute it, to all your friends. Amazon, again, they don't have to produce anything, but they provided a great e-commerce engine to provide a distribution and purchasing of products. Netflix is actually trying to take both the content and distribution. Obviously, they create their own movies and they also utilize others, but they have a great platform for distribution and consumption. Google doesn't have to create the websites, but they have a great way to index and find them. So they have really mastered this model, and we're trying to do that, but we're actually following the Tesla model, which is actually providing both the content and the distribution. They provide the Tesla battery, they provide recharging stations, and they provide the vehicles that utilize all that. Now, the problem with traditional marketing is it doesn't connect with today's online buyers. So if you can't connect, you can't effectively move them down an omnichannel digital sales funnel. But apps use data and AI to automate marketing. So we have this pre-app versus post-app. Pre-app is traditional marketing, post-app is data-driven marketing. And let me tell you the difference. On pre-app, you have to manually create all that generic static content. For us, it's a lot of graphic artists, a lot of computer modelers. But in the post-app world, the AI creates that personalized interactive visualization content, and it's doing it 24/7. In the pre-app, marketing campaigns are focused on singular channels. In post-app, you can simultaneously blitz all your omni-channels, with marketing campaigns 24/7, all in sync. Pre-app, you just have a general broadcast marketing. Post-app, you have very personalized direct marketing that really resonates with consumers wherever they're at in the sales funnel. Pre-app, you're trying to appeal to shoppers. Post-app, you're really guiding and directing shoppers. You're kind of like their virtual buyer's agent. In the pre-app world, you're trying to persuade shoppers. In the post-app world, the AI knows probably a lot about them based on what criterion and similar type of buyers in their market are looking for. So it can persuade those potential buyers to homes that they would never even thought of, or even incite demand that they never even had that urge to buy new. Now, the key to connecting today's online new home shoppers is data-driven visualization, which is what we're creating. Now, there's two real systems here. There's the builder's back-end data systems, and then there's the front-end buyer's graphical marketing channels. And what we want to try to do is cross this digital divide. On the back end, you have systems like MLS, ERP, and BIM that's laden with data. And now that's feeding the marketing channels. As the buyers interact on these marketing channels, it sends back information into your CRM system, sales, portal feeds, and obviously analytics. But what we do to improve this is we introduce again the cloud rendering engine that translates all that textual data into buyer speak, which is visual. And it's doing this across all these systems, both one directional and two directional, depending on the needs. But what we think long term is that ultimately all the systems will be two-way connected in real time. So we have a constant communication across all of our systems of all the data, but ultimately it'll be integrated into one ecosystem, saving time and money, efficiency, training, a whole bunch of things. And then long term, we're creating an AI-powered data-driven visualization, which is almost an AI engine on top of the cloud rendering engine that takes all this data, extracts it, processes it, refines it, learns from it, and then it runs it back into the cloud rendering engine to, at that point, direct personalized marketing content across all the channels to all the buyers in a personalized way with renderings that resonate with them. So why do we love apps? Well, we love them because the data-driven visualization content enables builders to advance to higher level digital marketing techniques. And currently we use generic dumb static content, and for renderings it's just dumb because it has no data associated with it and it's all generic. What we want to do is transform it into personalized smart interactive content so it's tied in with the data. And from a marketing method approach, we can now advance from traditional presentation marketing to higher level personalization, experiential, and predictive marketing. So let's again look at our FANG stock examples. These tech stocks replace physical mediums. For Facebook, it was magazines. Basically, that's where they used to follow celebrities and anybody else they were interested in. Amazon replaced a lot of the catalog shopping. Netflix replaced newspapers and posters, which advertise movies. And for Google, it really replaced letters and classified ads and yellow pages. Basically, there were marketing plays using technology. And for Rendering House, we had a lot of renderings that went into brochures, signs, and even thumbnails for websites. So in the early 2000s, we crossed a great digital divide and went from physical to digital mediums, which primarily were websites. But that really didn't advance us in marketing because we're still doing presentation of generic content on generic web pages, static web pages, and everybody went down the same web pages and everyone saw the same content yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So what we've now introduced, and like our FANG stock friends, apps. So with Facebook, they can now personalize their marketing by having your own Facebook page. Amazon, you have your own personalized Amazon shopping cart. And with Netflix, you have your Netflix user accounts, and you can even have multiple family members on that, so Netflix can now see what all your interests are. And with Google, you have your own private Gmail and accounts, and your Google searches are fine-tuned around your needs and your demographics. And then you can also have Google Documents where you can save all your documents and share and collaborate. For Rendering House, we've created the design online capability in our apps, and you can also have your My Home page just like Facebook and also save all your favorites there. This personalization allows you to advance up to experiential marketing. So now with Facebook, you have your own Facebook page. You can now like things, comment on things, watch and share your favorite content. On Amazon, you can now click to order, compare, and review things within your shopping cart. For Netflix, you can preview the movies before you watch them, and you can watch them omni-channel, which means that you can start off on a smartphone at the airport and then continue on a laptop at the hotel, and then when you come back home, watch the third episode on your big screen at home. So basically you can resume your movies and start wherever you left off. For Google, not only you get great searches, but they're fast, and you also have Google Maps now, so you can find the locations of your stores, and you can collaborate online with your Google documents, and it has a high level of security, so you're comfortable doing these searches. And for Rendering House, our apps allow you to co-design your homes online. You can also take virtual tours. You can resume your favorites, start where you left off, just like Netflix. You can get referrals on there through the AI, and soon we'll be offering a buy online feature, so it'll be like an e-commerce engine. And now you can advance to the highest level, which is predictive marketing, because after you start to like and share and comment on things, as Facebook gets smarter in their AI, they can provide you more relevant content. That's why it's so addictive. For Amazon, Netflix, it can start to provide you recommendations. That's why you watch more movies and do more shopping. And in Google, obviously, it provides you more relevant searches. That's why you can continue to use them. It's just, they're great marketing platforms. And Rendering House will incorporate match and notify functionality. So instead of searching all day long through thousands of websites and thousands of pages and thousands of plans, you list your criterion, and then AI will match you with the right products and location, and then notify you and also give you recommendations. So how does this work? For Rendering House, personalization marketing, as the buyer engages and designs their homes online, and everything runs through the cloud rendering engine. It generates three outputs primarily. One is their PDF brochure, which is kind of the old school way, but they can download a formatted PDF, and if they email it to themselves, the sales agent automatically gets a copy. It also generates their own My Home webpage, which is their unique, secure website, just like their own Facebook page, where all their favorites can be stored and then also updated and compared and shared and collaborated on. Now, the second level of marketing is experiential marketing. And this is really where you can have an exciting shopping experience. One way is after you design your home on your app, you can now share it, but you can also look at it in your shopping cart and compare the home side by side. Now you can just put in the email address of the person you want to share and collaborate on your designs with, and then you just hit send. And then your collaborator will receive an email with the link back to your shopping cart. And then you can collaboratively design with that person online, refining an existing design, or, maybe eliminating a design you do not like. Very easy. The second way to experience a home is to take a 360 virtual tour of an unbuilt home. And so like this example, you're just touring around like a Matterport experience, but you can also turn off the furniture so you can see how the floor plan looks like without it. Then as you move into the kitchen, you can see the white cabinets, but then you can also change the color of the cabinets. So blue to coffee color, even to yellow. And there's no risk, no harm, but it's very fun and engaging. And then the final way is to use augmented reality below, where you can take a virtual house and drop it on an empty lot at full scale. And so now you can see the house next to an existing home to see how it sits in your neighborhood. And you can actually, video record this just like you would an existing home. It really helps the buyer visualize their home in their space. And if you even touch the house, you can even change the color. So there's an element of design with this as well. I think this is going to be the great equalizer of new homes and existing homes. You can now see your virtual home on site. And now we have our highest level of marketing, which is predictive marketing. Now, we have a guiding principle here that buyers should not just buy what you sell, sellers should also sell what buyers want to buy. So, how do you do that? Well, you need to have analytics and ideally artificial intelligence to guide you. So, what we've created is our own analytics system, which we call our My Insights, because we are going to show everything graphically, not just in a data spreadsheet model. With graphical insights, which is again created through our cloud rendering engine, we can start to build visual presentations of the buyer's profiles of what houses they design, what lots they chose, what color schemes they chose, but also is supplemented by questionnaires about what types of things they're looking for. And also, when they save their favorites, all those things are added to the analytics. And then once they put in their Facebook or Google or email accounts, we can scrape public profiles online to get a better picture of who they are. Now, all that data is then fed into our AI engine, which ultimately can match homes with buyers. It can also refer and recommend buyers to inventory homes or to special promotions, special events, things like that. It can digitally funnel buyers through sales process. It can personalize the marketing campaigns because the cloud rendering engine can render your dream home in a visual way to you that resonates. Again, it can pre-sway potential buyers to homes that they may not have even considered, or even communities that they weren't even intending to buy in. And also can identify trends at the builder, community, and market levels. So you can now, in a sense, have not only your own SAT scores, but you see how your SAT scores compare to the rest of the market. Now, what I like to try to describe here is the MarTech disruption evolution. And this is basically using technology to become an industry marketing platform, like all of our FANG stocks. And it's really a monumental task. It's like climbing Everest, but I'm going to try to walk you through it. The first thing you need to do is to change the medium, the technology, and the access. And then the second thing is you want to commoditize and then obsolete the current content. And now with the new content, you want to massively distribute it. And then ultimately, you can now become this new MarTech platform media company for your industry. And so for Rendering House, we started this 20 years ago. And here's what we accomplished. We were able to transfer from paper to digital mediums. We advanced from websites to web apps technology. And we've gone from a public access to a private access. And what that means is now you have your own Facebook page, your own registration. And so once buyers are motivated and incentivized to register, now you can track them, but you're also helping them. And so what happens with the content is that we've moved it from static content to interactive content, and we've taken it from a generic content to personalized content. And we're almost at the peak here because we are now able to massively distribute all this new standard content in the cloud. So we can do it at scale 24/7. But there's another big advantage of having standardized content combined with having an app, having private access, and having interactive personalized content. We can now be like Amazon, where not only can you shop online, but with your universal pass, you basically have access to thousands of builders, plans, options, communities, and even home sites. And this will totally change the way new home buyers shop. They don't have to visit hundreds of different websites, get totally different experiences, not be able to save, compare, share, resume, and design their homes. But now they can do it all on one platform, pull up referential information from each builder as needed, tap into online assistance when needed, but basically stay on one platform. And then now they can utilize match and notify type of capabilities and AI assistance. And ultimately, by doing all this at scale, we can become a B2C MarTech platform and media company, just like other FANG stocks. If you look at the FANG stocks again, they focus on particular marketing content. And then they had a core technology that delivered it. So for Facebook, their content was friends, and then they provided it through a social network. Amazon provided products. They didn't create them, they just showed them. But then they were able to market and sell them through their e-commerce engine. Netflix promoted movies, and then they were able to distribute through their omni-channel streaming technology. Google was marketing websites, and they were able to make money by having a search engine that people paid for marketing and advertising. And I'm going to throw in Uber here. They were marketing rides, but they used their matching engine to match drivers with passengers, with cars, and with destination to provide that great customer experience. And for us, with Anugo, our content is obviously new homes, and we have to utilize all of the above technologies plus our proprietary rendering engine to accomplish this. So for us, it's not just climbing Everest, it's really climbing Neverest, because once you start on this journey and with the pace of technology changes, you just can never rest. Every mountain that you climb, another one's right behind it. And what I'm seeing happen is a perfect storm for disruption, what I'm calling winds of change. And now you have two low pressure fronts. One is that we have a huge, fragmented, inefficient marketplace that's slow to change. And then also we have very few early adopters. But now I see moving in some high pressure fronts. Tech unicorns are finding this very attractive, and they're coming in with technology like the cloud, mobile apps, augmented and virtual realities, 5G, AI, and most threatening is a lot of money. And then we also have high pressure from tech savvy consumers. They're expecting to have the same shopping experience online as they do with everything else, and just like their cars. And then a sudden surprise is COVID-19. That's adding the extra pressure of doing everything online as people don't want to meet with you. And so with all these fronts coming together, I see this large confrontation of pressures, and that's just going to forecast a major market disruption soon. And so how do we prepare for that? Well, I think we have technology solution, but I think the most important thing is a matter of mind over matter. Because if we don't change our mindset, it just won't matter. I always say the new homes industry is slow to innovate, but they're quick to copy. But that window of opportunity to change is getting narrower and narrower. It's almost like if you don't act now, it may be too late. Because you can compare imitation versus innovation. Imitation is the best form of flattery, but it's also the worst way to compete. Innovation really leads the way. Imitation, you go with the flow, but innovation, you challenge the current. Imitation, you follow the same school of thought, but innovation, you really ultimately school everyone else if you succeed. And imitation, you take the easy bait. You take the eye candy, the easy to implement, the cheapest cost. But innovation, you really seek the bigger prize. And that may take a little bit longer, but ultimately that wins. So what I challenge you to do is to sponge new ideas, expunge all the old, archaic, outdated ideas, and then plunge. So when should you take the plunge? Well, timing is everything. This is where you should look at your marketplace and determine whether you're going to be right on cue with new technology or basically be left in the queue. Back in 2015, the risk was really on the early adopters of ride sharing with Uber versus the traditional ride hailing ways of taxis, where you basically had to go to the product instead of the product coming to you. But you can see that consumers are slowly and then rapidly shifting to the ride sharing approach. Now you look in 2020, the risk has totally shifted to being a taxi cab, because now you're the late adopter. Nobody wants to do ride hailing, and everybody has shifted toward ride sharing. So the lesson here is there are technology tsunamis coming, and tsunamis really amplify the size and the pace of change, especially when the unicorns are behind it. So when you see a tsunami coming, you need to move fast once you see adoption. And then you have to make that decision. Do you ride it out or do you abandon ship? For a lot of the taxi drivers, they're abandoning ship. But I think if you get in there early, you can ride it out and maybe even lead the wave. Now let's look at what happened with the taxi industry. Back then with ride hailing in 2013, if you want to get a medallion to give you the right to service New York City, it was $1 million. By the time you got that 2019, that medallion was only $136,000, and people couldn't even give it away. I mean, there was just so much debt that was associated with it. So many people went out of business. And you see from the marketplace here chart, uh, not only did Uber and Lyft take out taxis, but it also took out rental cars. And that trend will never reverse. Now, on the ride sharing side, you see how Uber has advanced to 900,000 Uber drivers in the US and 3 million globally. And they did that not with a better product. It's not like their vehicles are better, but they did it through providing a superior customer experience, CX. Because one, with Uber, with their apps, you can access that universally wherever you are in the world. The product comes to you, it matches and notifies you, it matches the buyer with the driver, with the vehicle, with the destination, and it notifies you when you're there instead of you having to go out and try to hail it in the pouring rain and in a major boulevard. It's a very seamless transaction. It already has all your credit cards. You just get in, get out, move on. It can continue to improve on your experience because you can have different settings like I don't want the driver to talk to me, or I want certain types of vehicles. And it can extend to other services like Uber Eats. So basically, they won on customer experience, not product. Now, in the new home space, you have to weigh the risk, and it's about time. The risk is, do you want to continue to sell offline, or do you want to try to move toward the buy online experience? You can see that consumers in other industries are starting to move more and more to an online shopping experience. So you see this coming back in 2018, that interest. Now I'm thinking by the time 2023 rolls around, buy online with the technology and with the demand is going to be predominant in our industry. And the risk will be then that you become a late adopter and it may be too late to catch up. Now, one other factor that's coming into all of this stuff is COVID. COVID has accelerated that technology and customers buy online migration table. What was probably going to be like 2023, I think, can move up to 2021 for that shift to buy online. And the clock is ticking. So one of the questions we get is, how are new homes uniquely different from other online products? What makes it so hard to put online? Well, it's very high cost. There's a lot of pain and there's a lot of risk. It's a complex, collaborative, infrequent, and expensive investment that you happen to be living in. The products don't exist often. You have to buy it sight unseen. It's very frustrating. There are thousands of builders, communities, plans, lots, and choices. And on top of that, you have to combine all those elements. And then you can't compare design experience and buy all this online. So it's really a painful offline process that you have to work with somebody on. And so on top of that, a long, arduous construction and closing process. Well, we hope to improve all of that because we believe that new homes are not bad products, but buying new homes is a bad experience. So what we want to do is to alleviate that, because what happens is if you have a product that has high cost and pain, you're going to have a lower risk tolerance. And if you have a lower risk tolerance, you're less likely to engage in it. So our Uber goal is to improve the customer experience, because then we think we can get Uber results, which will reduce the cost of pain, which then will reduce the risk, which then will increase the engagement, which would then translates into higher sales. Now, how do we improve customer experience? Well, we can do that with MarTech. I mean, basically by applying technology to marketing. So the first thing is with content, using technology. Instead of having a man-made rendering, you can now create through data. Before, the builder had to pre-make all of these renderings. Now the buyer can design it online. Instead of having dumb static generic renderings, now you have smart interactive unique renderings that's personalized around each buyer. And now when we upgrade the software, you don't have to go through each builder one at a time. It automatically updates the software across thousands of builders simultaneously. And now for the customer, you go from a seller-centric approach to a customer-centric approach. It's all about them. And the way you find homes, instead of going through search and SEO, it would now use AI to match and notify buyers of matching homes, builders, plans, communities, lots. And instead of paying upfront for click ads, which is just really a shotgun approach and you're competing against everyone else for that ad space and bid process, now you just pay for leads. You pay for performance. So you don't waste money on unnecessary keywords or searches. And instead of being focused on a website, the buyer has their own My Home page. So now you go to them and you continue to usher them down the online sales funnel. So in that situation, instead of the buyer coming to the product comes to them, just like a home delivery. And that whole process will now go from offline to online purchases. And with technology, your channels are going to change. Instead of just having a few channels, you have unlimited omni-channel experiences, because there's a new marketing channel coming out every year, if not every month. And instead of being out of sync across all these channels, using the cloud, all your data is in sync across all channels. And instead of having to restart the process every time they switch channels, they can just resume wherever they left off, kind of like Netflix. And with technology, instead of being stuck at the top of the funnel because they really can't move themselves down online, now we can take the buyer toward the bottom of the funnel, if not the complete sales transaction. And finally, instead of manually creating and launching marketing campaigns, which is a time-consuming and expensive process, the AI can generate and launch these personalized campaigns 24/7 at very minimal cost. Now, one last thing about apps is that they're great at capturing and revealing people and product shopping data. Now, if you think about it, before apps, you're basically driving, looking at your rearview mirror. You're looking at historical data. In the post-app world, you're really looking into the future, utilizing AI and the customer selections. So in the data collection analytics, in the past, you were looking at page views of your website, but who really cares about that when you can have the favorites on the buyer's My Home pages? You know exactly what they selected, not just which pages they went to. Instead of just capturing generic footprints, you're now getting fingerprints of who these buyers are, what they touched, and where they are in the sales funnel. So you know how to approach them and what they've already looked at and what they're looking forward to. And who cares about popular pages? You want something to tell you what the popular products and options are. And that's something that's a language that we all understand, including the buyers, and it also transcends all builders' information. So if you want to do market level comparisons. Also in the past, you just got customer demographics. Well, now we can give you customer profiles and product criterion, because it can scrape against their Facebook page, their emails, their LinkedIn accounts, as well as their completion of questionnaires. And the old way of doing analytics is you look at latent transactional data. Homes that sold last year may have no meaning towards the sale of homes in the future. I mean, trends change. You actually could be making the wrong decisions based on the old data. Whereas we show current shopping data as buyers are interacting in real time. So we are actually on trend, but we can also direct them to the trends. Historically, we just focus on single channel analytics, but with an app, we can look at cross-channel analytics. We can see how buyers have moved across different channels in their customer journey and be able to basically meet them and cut them off at the pass if necessary. And instead of looking at just textual analytics, which is hard to dissect and understand, and especially across many different builders and markets, we're just going to show you everything graphically with heat maps, with color schemes that reflect the popularity of what has been chosen. And instead of just looking at individual builder analytics, yes, well, that tells you how you perform versus yourself, but it doesn't show you how you performed against your competitor or in that marketplace. Now we can look at it at a higher level, macro level, and in more real time. And instead of reading reports, the AI will guide you. It would basically show you exceptions and show you things that are out of the norm and show you opportunities. That's the way we should really market, analyze, and sell nowadays. So to do all this, we're really introducing a new go, which is don't buy and sell new homes the old way, make a new go of it. And what we're trying to do is to bring more home buyers to a new home market with great content, exceptional CX, and basically capture that 85% drop off of new home buyers to existing homes. And the way we're going to do this is using the apps. We can retain new home buyers. Digitally, we can now usher the buyers down digital sales funnel. And hopefully in all that, we can convert more sales in a faster way and with higher profit margins, all online. And again, this is using our cloud rendering engine, which is sending information out, rendering it, and bringing information back in. It just gets smarter and smarter and smarter and faster and faster and faster. And just as a last graphic here, basically you have all these builders in our whole portal network that are accessing their data, which is what they use to drive their home sales. But then at the high level, all these buyers here have their favorites, and now they can have favorites that cross over different builders and communities, which is going to be very attractive, very engaging. That's why people use Amazon. That's why people use Netflix. That's why people have Facebook, so they can cross many different content elements in their own way and on their own page. As an example here, if this new lady comes in and she picks these 3 builders as her favorites, she can continue to shop from them, but she can also turn on almost like roadside assistance or driver's assistance here using AI or an online sales consultant, and they can jump into her shopping cart and help her give ideas and even recommend her to a builder that she never even thought about. And I'm just going to give you a quick sneak peek into the portal that we're creating. So you can see, you can zoom in and out, and as you move around whatever you're looking at, the builders in the communities automatically reflect that on your right. So the content goes where you go instead of you having to try and navigate all these cumbersome web pages across different builders. And as you zoom into like St. Louis, you can see the communities pop up, and as you just select that community that you're interested in, you go right into their plans and you can start designing them. Everything from their floor plans to the color schemes, choose which available lots, and then when you hit create brochure, it adds that to your favorites, and you just keep shopping across all the other builders. So basically with Inugo, it's not just a place where you can shop for new homes. It's a place where you can learn when, where, why, and how to buy new homes, because we know the shopping process starts way early before you're actually buying a house. And we want to do this in a way that's not distracted by existing homes and real estate agents necessarily. It's really the focus on the advantages of buying new. And here you can shop across thousands of builders, communities, plans, lots, and options. Why wouldn't you go there first? And it matches the buyers with the builders. That saves you a lot of headache, and there's no FOMO, fear of missing out, because the AI will always be watching for you and notify you. And in this environment, you can compare, share, save, and co-design favorites online. So you are continuing that sales process, and once you start, you really don't want to leave it, because it just gets more and more exciting, more and more engaging. And also here you can reserve guided tours for of inventory homes, or if you want to, you can do self-guided tours. So we have relationships with InterNow and UTour where you can make reservations or notify you on how the process goes for each lot. And then you can also take virtual and augmented reality tours, so you get that real world experience in a virtual way. It also has automatic sales price and monthly payment calculations, so you know what you can afford without having to share with everyone else. But we, as builders, know who our qualified leads are. We can also use that information to help direct you to the right house and right community at the right profit margins for us. And with the app, you can also reserve and purchase lots and inventory homes, and ultimately design, price, and purchase your homes. Basically, the app would take the buyers through the whole marketing, sales, and ultimately construction process, so that they can just stay on one platform. And then we're also taking this global, so we're introducing language, measurement, and currency conversions. And we're already doing a lot with Canada, incorporating their provinces and zip codes. So I think this is something that can transcend all languages, all cultures, in different countries, because a picture's worth 1,000 words. So at the end here, I just want to say that technology changes, and it's only natural, but technology will have ripple effects. And as I was going over earlier, a perfect storm is brewing, and there's a tsunami of change coming. So what you need to do here is climb to higher ground. But once you cross over that, you can really enjoy the sunnier days on the other side. So I'm just going to end with this. The first time I tried this real estate tech revolution, I think it was a little premature. So I'm going to say this is a tech revolution 2. And now that the technology is there, the buyers are definitely on board. They want to shop online. And I think now the builders are starting to get it and they're embracing technology. So I'm saying, hey, with Rendering House and New Go together, let's make a new go of it. Thank you. And if you want to contact me and learn more, feel free to go visit our websites or email me directly.